All in Voramis know the legend of the hunter, relentless, immortal, death-walking, the greatest assassin who's ever lived. What's up, everyone? Michael R. Schulteis here, author of the Rostival Saga, coming at you today with my review of Darkblade Assassin by Andy Peloquin. This is the wonderfully, wonderfully dark, very bloody, very epic story of the Hunter of Voramis, a master assassin who turns out to have a rather interesting and dark and bloody backstory and a heart of gold. He has a heart of gold. He also has a lot of bloodlust. So if you are new here, we're going to do what we usually do. I'm going to break this down by characterization, plot, world building. I'll give an overall rating, scale of 5. We'll get into who this book is for and who is it not for. So let's get started. Characterization. Okay, so the Hunter of Voramis is our protagonist, and he dominates the story. Kind of a loner. Kind of goes with being an assassin with a mysterious past. And he's a superb character. On the one hand, he is driven by bloodlust. He has a magic dagger called Soul Hunger that drives him to shed blood. It's very metal. It's really, really awesome and dark and cool. And there's a voice in his head that's telling him to kill as well. And how do you make a character like that likable, sympathetic? I mean, it's very, very metal. It's very, very epic and dark. How do you make a character like that sympathetic? Well, Andy Peloquin pulls it off. Because the hunter has a heart of gold, too. It goes with the bloodlust. It's the most fascinating combination because, yes, he's driven to kill, but he's determined that he's not going to kill innocent people. No, he kills scumbags. He kills monsters and psychopaths and slave traders and just awful people. And the combination of the magic that's driving him to kill and driving him crazy if he doesn't, but he has this moral restraint, is completely fascinating, and I ate it up. So this is what made the Hunter of Voramis for me as a character. He actually does care about other people. It's counterintuitive, and you would think it would be counterindicated by the bloodshed and violence and mayhem, but no, actually he does. He goes to great lengths to cultivate friendships with the downtrodden people of the city who he tries to help. And this is really what gives this story so much depth and so much humanity and so much warmth, although this is where I tell you that Mr. Andy Peloquin is a bit like George R. R. Martin in that he does tend to sometimes kill characters, including people who you liked. I almost feel like he took George R. R. Martin that whole approach and said, I'm gonna go darker and I'm going to dash your hopes and dreams for these characters. And a couple of these, okay, one in particular, actually got me, and I'm a bit of a curmudgeon. So, gotta tell you, this is just very, very impressive all around. I think you'll find the Hunter of Voramis a superb character, a masterclass in characterization, and the supporting characters, from the people he befriends and cares for, to the psychopaths and the awful people who run the Bloody Hand. It's the criminal syndicate he's at war with for a good part of the story. The secondary characters for me were all very much wins as well. I think the characterization here, there's just so much to love. Switching gears now, let's talk plot. We have a fantastic combination of battles and fights. The hunter gets into a lot of fights, and there's a lot of violence, and there's a lot of intrigues, subterfuge, stratagems. He's actually really clever, too. This is another aspect of this story that I just love. The hunter is more than, fast and good with the knife. He thinks, he has a mind, and he uses it very capably. And I think what you'll find is that this is the kind of book you just have to keep turning the page. There's so much here, and the twists and the turns and the things that you learn. Another aspect of this that I should mention is just the setting. The city of Varamis feels extraordinarily real. It comes to life through the plot, through the story. The hunter spends a lot of time in the seedy, the not very nice parts, the dockside, the bars, the places that are kind of dirty and dark, the thieves' market. But then there's some upper class places too, and that's another aspect of this that I just really liked. You spend a lot of time in different parts of the city. There's always more. There's catacombs. There's always more to the story, and it will keep you going. I think you'll find it is very difficult to put down. So that brings me to world building. Now, Peloquin does a superb job of world building the heck out of this city. Like, you will get a feel for it. And I'll mention that there's a lot of olfactory descriptions, too. There's a lot of smells in this city, which feels very realistic. It's a pre-modern milieu. They have swords. They have medieval weapons. I don't recall there being any gunpowder weapons, but it has a very pre-modern medieval kind of feel to it. I had felt almost in maybe an Italian medieval, like a medieval Venice kind of a feel, maybe with the maritime trade and the like. And it's just all so well done. And another aspect of this that I have to mention is that there is a very epic mythos here, in addition to the beautifully realized street-level world of Varamis. And Peloquin does a fantastic job of drip-feeding you that information. The hunter has a huge memory loss about his past, and so that ends up being a source of mystery and intrigue, and, you might say, oh, lots of stories have that. Well, this is extremely well done. And I like how you get more as time goes on. The hunter is trying to figure it out and make sense of what he learns, and it's just very interesting, and it speaks to his own internal conflict. I'll just put it like that, trying to avoid spoilers here. All right, overall rating. Well, guess what, folks? If you tell me a story this awesome, there is only one rating that will do. Slam dunk, hands down, one of the easiest 5 out of 5s that I've ever given in the entire history of this channel. This book blew me away. This is just an absolute masterclass in the dark, gritty, epic fantasy of with an assassin kind of protagonist. And I just loved all of it. So with that said, who is this book for? Well, you probably know what I'm going to say if you like Joe Abercrombie, Mark Lawrence, John Palladino. You like grimdark fantasy. You like fantasy where there's moral ambiguity. I will say that there is a clear sense of right and wrong in this book, but the conflict within the hunter, I think, makes for a lot of nuance there, and it's the kind of thing that I think is going to appeal to grimdark fans, and there is a lot of grimdark, but it's interesting too, because there is such a strong sense of right and wrong. So I think a lot of people who have a grimdark orientation are going to love this one. And I'll say in general, if you like your fantasy really dark, really epic, lots of violence, lots of intrigue, lots of a masterfully put together plot with a lot of twists and turns and just fun things to just keep you going, this could be right up your alley. I'll add too that if you like assassin fiction, stories with assassins as the protagonist or as a key character, just stop the video already. Go buy this book. You will not be sorry. You'll be very, very happy. So that brings me to, who is this book not for? Well, again, you probably know what I'm going to say. If you don't like very dark, very violent stories where nasty things happen to people, including people we might like, if you don't want to read that kind of story, if you need trigger warnings for your books, just give this one a pass. You'll be happier if you do. Maybe you can handle some violence. You like fantasy, you can handle some violence, but not, this thing or that thing or other thing. Well, give this one a pass. There are some very gruesome things that happen. Some of the descriptions of violence are quite graphic. So this is just not going to be for you if there's a lot of like, oh, I can handle violence up to this point, and then Anything more than this, I get uncomfortable. Well, it's probably best that you give this one a pass. It is, again, a very violent story. Now, with that said, if you've heard everything that I've said here and you are intrigued, you like the idea of a dark, epic, gritty, action-packed, full of intrigue kind of story with an assassin protagonist, I think Darkblade Assassin could be just the book for you. So with that said, how about you? Have you read Darkblade Assassin by Andy Peloquin? Do you want to read it? Do let me know in the comments. I would love to talk to you there. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It does help us to grow the channel, and I personally really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope to catch you on the next video.